Hello, hello, hello.
Hi, Heather. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing on this lovely Friday, Penny?
Good. Yeah, I've got a window right next to me and lots of beautiful trees. I'm doing good. I'm looking forward to the weekend.
Oh, yes, me too, me too. And welcome, everybody. It's a beautiful Friday, even though there's a little overcast going on out there. Some strange stuff happening up there in Canada. Well, not strange. I guess it's common from what I've read, but it's weird for it to be coming down this far, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's going all the way down to DC, the smoke.
Isn't that nuts?
Yeah.
Crazy, crazy. Penny, thank you so much for coming on here today. It's been a while since I've seen you. We've got to hook up and go out to a chamber event sometime soon.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, but I wanted to share you with my community here, with a Compassionate Heart Massage Therapy clients and guests, and just in the wellness community itself. I wanted to tell you a little bit of the reason why I started doing this. I really feel like the pandemic kind of shattered our community, because we're wellness healing practitioners. We've been struggling the past few years, right? We got to be in the same room with people, and not everybody made it through as far as practitioners go. Some of us decided to find other forms of work. And I just feel like us as practitioners themselves, we kind of scattered from each other too. So I really want to try to start creating a stronger community as we come back together here. And I wanted to find out more about what everybody is doing now, right?
Right.
So I wanted to, just to let everybody know, me and Penny met through Paramount Pursuits.
Yes.
And that was a entrepreneur mentorship program that we went through. It wasn't even last year, it was the year before.
No, we finished last year. I think we finished in June of last year. So we finished a year ago. And in Erie, it's called Thrive in Erie. So the company that runs it is called Paramount Pursuits. The program they run is called Thrive in Erie, and it's a 1-year business mentorship program.
Yeah. So I wanted to find out a little bit more about, so there's your business, Thrive Therapy Space, that went through Thrive in Erie.
Exactly right. It's a little confusing.
Program itself. Penny, I wanted to find out more about what inspired you to get into the Thrive in Erie program. How long had you been in business already? And give me a little bit of background there.
So I had been in business for, I guess, about probably 2 years, right? Yeah. So I've been in business for about 2 years when I tried to get into the program. And then I was in it at about, about two years. Then at 2.5 years or so, I started in the program. What prompted me is I never expected to be a business owner. And so from the beginning, I have found programs. The first one in Erie that I was part of was called Co-Starters. It was an 8-week program. And you just, every single week, you just did a little bit more. And they helped you really assess your idea and see whether you wanted to do it. That was a great program. And it helped me a lot because as I was completely inexperienced in running a business and owning a business, right? So then I had heard about Paramount Pursuits from Will Kohler, who owns Journey to a Trauma-Informed Life. Yep. And so he had been in it and he recommended it highly. And so I applied and had an interview with Trish. And then I got in and I was really happy to. I seem to do better. Oh, I guess I could use the word thrive. I think that I seem to thrive when there are other people around who can tell me about their experiences. I've always been someone who benefits by just hearing about other people's experiences. And so that program was good. Plus they taught us all kinds of stuff and we got together. We had a whole cohort.
Yeah, it was wonderful. How long have you been, you're a therapist as well, right?
Yes, I'm a therapist as well. So I have a private practice and I started my private practice in 2009. I went to school at Edinburgh University in, I guess, 2005 to 2007 and got a degree in counseling. And then I worked in the community for 2 years. And then I I opened my own private practice with some other women I knew who had private practices. So they really supported me as I was launching my practice.
So you had been a business owner before.
Yeah, I mean, you can count that, but it's pretty small scale. It's a different level. Yeah, it's a different level. I didn't have any employees or anything. I mean, I had to do my own billing, and I had an office, but there weren't like lots of expenses, just a few therapy related expenses. So it was this completely different, you're right. It was a business, but it was a lower level.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that kind of takes us to where you're at today, though, and what you're doing with your space. So, what was the inspiration from being a smaller business owner to where you're at now? What was that transition? What was that inspiration? What made you go, it's time for me to do this?
Well, there were a few different things. One thing is that I had been in a great environment, right? So there were, I think, 5 or 6 of us in a practice over on West 6th Street, and it was a good environment. We met with each other routinely so that we felt connected to each other. Why was it a great environment? Because we had a sense of community, we had a sense of connection, and we had a sense of collaboration, right? So that's really cool. So I had that already. Another thing is that I had been the group facilitator in the Dean Ornish program for reversing heart disease. We had some of that here in town. And that program's all about eating healthier, exercising more, doing stress management. And then the other part is about deepening your relationships. And so I was helping people deepen their relationships by being in groups together and kind of sharing more deeply. And actually it made a big difference in people's lives to really learn how to share more deeply and how to kind of deepen their relationships. Anyway, but what I learned from that program is that people are happier when they feel more connected to other people. And it actually protects our health, right? So people die less of all causes when they feel connected to other people. When people feel isolated, they die more of all causes. That sounds crazy, but it's true. It's like smoking a pack and a half of cigarettes a day. So to me, being in community and connection was really important. And I started to think, okay, lots of therapists are isolated, right? How does it make sense that us psychotherapists are isolated when we're teaching people about being not isolated, right? I knew we had a good thing over on West 6th Street. And so I wanted to kind of like bring that to more therapists. And I also was already familiar with the model of Radius Cowork downtown. So it's a co-working space, right? So I took the model of the co-working space. I wanted to create an environment of community, connection, and collaboration because that made me, because I believe that when the therapists themselves are in that kind of a community, they're healthier. And so then the therapy that they give to their clients would be healthier.
I love it. And that all makes sense. That really resonates with me as well, because I've been there before. I've been a solo practitioner just behind my own 4 walls. And I think that's part of the reason why I even started my own business. I love having my staff here. I love working with, you get isolated. And I think it's also the sharing of the vulnerabilities of things that we feel and the validation that you get from other people, knowing that everybody else is feeling the same way, has the same struggles, right? And then we can all share in our victories. I think that's where you find that strength in that, right?
I agree. Yes, the vulnerability is important. And yeah, when other people share and you realize you're not alone, because people generally feel alone in their struggles.
Yeah.
If you have a knee replacement and I don't know, you're worried about, the pain, generally people feel like they're managing it more poorly than other people do. We kind of blame ourselves for doing worse than other people in all different areas of our life, right? And so that when we can actually talk to other people and we realize that they're struggling too, it's like, wow, because otherwise we kind of just think it's us.
Yes. I love that. So when did you start to launch Thrive Therapy Space?
So I launched Thrive before I was in, Paramount Pursuits. And so I launched in the September of 2019. So 6 months before COVID. I've been working on launching for, 6 months, obviously, because to start a, business, you pretty much have to work on it for a while first. But so I launched in September of 2019. And so then this September we'll have been in business for 4 years. So we launched and had not that many members. Then COVID came and we did better than perhaps some other wellness providers, right? Because people still needed mental health therapy. And I get that for, massage therapists, you can only practice in person. And for us mental health clinicians, right, we can practice online, just like what you and I are doing right now. We could have therapy online, right? And so we weren't impacted in the same way that the other wellness providers were, who have to see people in person, right? So and then insurance kept paying for stuff, right? And then insurance is like, okay, if you don't have a HIPAA compliant platform, use anything, use FaceTime, they just wanted us to be in touch with our clients, right?
Wow.
And so it was kind of, it was like a whole new era to be able to just use anything. And if you didn't have something HIPAA compliant, I don't know, you just use your telephone, right? I mean, now we're back to HIPAA compliant. You have to have a HIPAA compliant platform. But for a while, they're like, okay, just be in touch with your clients.
So when you first started, you just started off as a space for counselors.
Yes, we were just counselors. I call them therapists, but that's confusing because you're a therapist, right? You're a massage therapist. But so we're psychotherapists, mental health counselors. It's kind of all the same thing. So yeah, we launched just with the mental health people because that's what I knew. That was my field. And I couldn't even fathom launching and welcoming in other providers at the beginning. Like I wasn't sure it was going to work, right?
Right.
And so it was later that we decided to add in other wellness practitioners.
So when did that come about? What was the evolution there? Was that after COVID? Like, when was that in the
It was pretty much after COVID. I had liked the idea of being a wellness space from the very beginning. And there were two models in the country that I looked at online. But like I said, I didn't have the nerve to do it. Then we got two full downstairs. We had five offices in our suite. And so a while prior to that, we had taken a suite upstairs. It was 3 offices. Then we had 5 offices and 3 offices, but we weren't all together. And the whole part of a co-working space is community, collaboration, and connection, right? And so being in 2 separate office suites on different floors didn't make sense. So I was really trying to figure out, we thought about putting in a spiral staircase, all kinds of stuff.
Oh.
It was all going to be
so that was that evolution then, because I remember you talking about all of that. Yes. Okay.
It was going to be too expensive to do a big build out. So, co-working spaces don't actually earn a lot of money. So there's not a lot of money to do like a big build out or anything, right? But then this suite upstairs came open, and it's about 6,500 square feet. Before we had about 2,500 plus another, 1,200 or something. And then this is 6,500. And so I really deliberated because I didn't want to get myself in a hole, right? Because obviously I have a lease now for 6,500 square feet, right? So I talked to the members. It's always about collaboration. And I asked people what their ideas are. And a lot of people thought it was a good idea to go ahead and become a wellness space. Because in this biggest space, we could have a body work room, or maybe 2 body work rooms eventually. We could have a yoga studio. We have a group therapy room now. It's for group therapy or any kind of like small trainings and stuff, right? So it started to make sense. And then I started to have kind of open houses and try to reach out to the wellness community and have people come in and talk to us about the possibilities and get feedback, from massage therapists. I talked to you, I talked to other massage therapists, just trying to get feedback about how our model would work. So our model is different than yours, obviously, because you're a business owner and you have employees. Mm-hmm. Here at Thrive, because we're a co-working space, a co-working space is about providing the space, and it's a membership kind of thing, like going to the gym. At one membership, you get to use the space a certain number of hours a week. And at a higher membership, you get to use the offices for more hours a week, right? So I don't actually have employees. The people who are here, they bring their own private practice and then they practice at Thrive, but they own their own business.
I love it. I love it. So would that have been, that would have been the beginning around 2022, right?
Well, we launched that last summer on July 1st. So this time last year, I was like a chicken with my head cut off, running around 90 miles an hour because we were doing a build out up here. We had a small build out up here. And so we launched the wellness space on July 1st of last year.
Wonderful. Awesome. So I have so many questions. I have to narrow it down. So there are 2 things that I'm interested in exploring. So we'll start. So there's the being a member of the co-working space itself. And then near the end here, what I want to do is find out exactly for the community, how that is different in what you actually offer the community. So what I want to start with is your members themselves. So you moved into this, you opened this up. How did you find people to now come and be members and to work in that space? How do you do that?
I mean, it's partly word of mouth, because the people who are here, they really seem happy here, right? And so then it's word of mouth, and then, trying to be creative about finding people's email addresses. I've been told by a marketing mentor that email is still good. Email is still relevant. So trying to get email addresses either from LinkedIn or originally from Psychology Today, where a lot of therapists are online.
Could you do some headhunting then?
Well, I'm not sure if you call it headhunting as much as, like trying to get email addresses, but you can't just get them. I had to email every single person on Psychology Today. I had to fill in every single field. You got to fill it in and say, okay, this is me and I'm about Thrive and I'm another psychotherapist. And would you provide your email address to me? And then once I had the email addresses, I mean, this is just interesting about launching the business. As I launched, I gathered in the email addresses basically of everybody I knew and everybody I met. I met the mayor. Okay, I added him to my list. So that basically not just the psychotherapists in town, but other people I met who might be excited. And it turns out that people were excited to know about. I had excitement too, but so other people were excited because I was excited, starting a business and stuff. And so I ended up sending out updates, like, we found a spot. Well, we're looking for a building. Oh, well, we found a building. Oh, well, it needs this kind of a build out. Oh, we have a couple of members who signed up ahead of time before we launched, right? So I would send out updates. So I think then those people would refer me to other people, just kind of friends and family would have people come in. And so we got the word out kind of slowly, but steadily. We've been growing, never fast, but kind of steadily.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's one step in front of the other. If you go too quick, it can blow up a little bit.
Right.
So what are your memberships there? Like, what are the tiers of the memberships? And then also, what kind of practitioners do you have in there? What's the variety that you have now?
So far we have a lot of the mental health clinicians. That's the bulk of the people we have. We have one massage therapist here. We have a few life coaches. We have two people who practice Reiki and other kind of alternative healing or energy work. And then we have a yoga studio, and that's Karen Ducato, who brought Barefoot Buddha Yoga Studio here to Thrive. And so we're really glad she's here with us. So those are the different providers we have as members, right? And then our membership levels, we've got a low level, which is $35. It's called Community. And that means you just want to be part of our community and come to our bagel breakfast once a month on Saturday and be part of our closed Facebook group and just have that support of being in community with other like-minded individuals. And then we have kind of all different ones. We call them partner. Partner levels mean that you can use the offices. And so partner 0, you can use the offices, you have to pay for them. Partner 0 means you have the offices 0 hours per week, but you can get them separately. But you're at a level where you can get them separately. That's $75 a month. Partner 5 means you can use an office 5 hours a week. That's 22 hours a month. Partner 10, you could use an office 10 hours a week, right? So people can run their own practice how they want. If you just want to have a little private practice on the side, like we've got a person who's he's a guidance counselor at McDowell. He just wants a private practice on the side. He doesn't want a full-time private practice. He's not going to leave McDowell, right? He likes his job there, right? So some people just want a small private practice on the side, and then other people want to start with a small private practice, and then they want to maybe leave if they're at an agency and have a full-time practice. And so we allow people to do that because they can use an office their membership allows them to use an office at different kind of levels. Okay.
And do you help them therefore grow their business? Like, do you help them on the back end as far as like what we did with Paramount, kind of teach them at least some basics on how to do taxes? What should they do for write-offs? How do they do marketing? How do they get their own clients, right? Because it shouldn't all be on you. The whole point of that is, for them to grow their business. So, but do you help them with that? How does that work?
Yeah, that's a good question. We help them in a number of ways. One way is that we put them on our website. Another way is that we send, a letter out to doctors, an email out to doctors and other providers like school counselors. So we've tried, that's a separate email list, is we've tried to gather in the emails of lots of doctors in Erie and school counselors and college counselors and physical therapists. We just tried to gather in emails. And then periodically, about once a quarter, we send out a list of all of our providers that they could, hand out to people. So that's one way. Another is there's a lot of cross referrals that happen. And so people, refer to each other. There's another way, and I'm not thinking about it right now. Oh, yeah, right. And so plus we have open houses and stuff, and we have everybody who practices here, we have their photos out in our waiting room. And so people can sit there and they're like, oh, well, they've got 2 life coaches. Oh, well, there's the massage therapist. A few of my clients have scheduled with the massage therapist. So just kind of our own internal advertising helps.
Right.
And then if people are putting together an event, then we try to help them publicize their event. They are in charge of their event and making like a Facebook event for it, that kind of stuff, or whatever they have to do. But then if they share it with us, then we'll share it more widely. So we try to support people as they are launching their practice. But it's also up to them to,
Right.
Get the word out also. We also have a program called Launch Your Private Practice. And thus far, we've only done it with the mental health clinicians, but that's an 8-week program it's kind of based on the 8-week co-starters program I did. And so you go through in 8 weeks, it's actually 6 weeks. Our launch one is 6 weeks. You go through in 6 weeks and you learn the different facets of having your own private practice.
Do you think that will evolve, that you'll evolve that for the other wellness practitioners there then, kind of as you start to get more in there and learn a little bit more about what they need?
I think probably for the massage therapists, I don't know about the others. Like we have some real specific information about getting paneled on insurance companies and what you have to do. And so if we could do that it's a good idea. So far, I've thought about it for the massage therapists. I have not thought about it yet for like the life coaches or the other modalities, but we don't have a lot of those people yet. And so co-working spaces really are about responding to what the members need.
Right.
So if the members start to need that or ask for that, then we would do that.
Wonderful. Yes. That's great. That's great. So let me see here. Are there other centers like yours here in Erie?
There's a wellness center in Erie, but I think it's a group practice, kind of, I think more like your model, right? Where one person owns it and then the other people are employees.
I think so too. Yes.
Right.
So you're unique to this area as far as
we're unique in the country. There are not many like us. There's the Boulder Healing Hub. There was one called in Boulder. Obviously, there was one called Soma Vida in Austin. They closed down during COVID. We're a unique model in the whole country.
Wow, look at you. I
cool.
love it. That is super cool. That is really, really cool. Let me see here. So turning to what you may offer the community, what is the uniqueness of a place or community like this that may differ from, like we had said, the other models of just maybe a space where other people rent, or are employees of a place? What would this have to offer to clients and community different than perhaps other models of businesses?
Well, what we hope for is that providing this place of community connection and collaboration for the providers, right? And then the business is focused on the providers, right? So really the clients of Thrive Therapy Space are the providers, technically, right?
Right.
By focusing on them, then I believe that they will be happier and they will provide better services to their clients. So hopefully they provide better services because they're happy here. And right.
And they're doing what they want to do. There's definitely a growing, people want to own their own businesses anymore.
They do. And sometimes people get trapped in businesses or in agencies or whatever, where they expect them to see 40 clients a week. There's no way you can be a healthy individual, You can't be a healthy mental health clinician and be trying to see 40 clients a week. It's absolutely impossible. You can't do it. You would be a very unhealthy clinician, right? And I know sometimes in the massage therapy field, they do the same thing. They make you see so many clients that it really wears you down, right? And so I think that's one of the benefits, is that they can see as many clients as they want to, right? And
Right.
I don't take a portion of what they earn. They pay a flat membership fee every month, right? So I don't take a portion of what they earn. So they have kind of more control, and they can work 10 hours a week. Like one gal has kids at home and she considers that she has a full-time practice, but she sees 20 clients a week here. So she's in an office for 20 hours a week. Now she has more paperwork to do at home. She works more than 20 hours, but she sees 20 clients a week, does her paperwork at home, and she probably works about 27 hours a week.
There's something about owning your own work and then knowing the ins and outs of both sides of things that brings a different appreciation to the table. And like you said, a different appreciation to be able to offer what you have to offer to people. And there's a light behind that as far as trying to help people heal. And I think there's a journey in healing ourselves as therapists, owning our own businesses too. Like it's because there's a lot mentally that goes with owning your own business. Have we not learned that along the way, right?
There's so much more than I ever expected.
Yeah, there's a lot of you got to put yourself out there, right? And you got to sometimes fight your own demons as to where that's at too, you know?
Right. And so I guess another answer to your question is that we are considering starting programming where we would go out into businesses locally and do different kinds of like group therapy. We wouldn't necessarily call it group therapy, but things like, how to work with difficult people, and how to use mindfulness in parenting, right? So we could have these different like little short courses that we offer to groups, because one of the issues that we're all having these days is that there aren't enough therapists right now, psychotherapists like myself. There aren't enough mental health clinicians. And so then how do we help people in groups instead of just individual one-on-one? So that's something we're considering is how do we get out into the community more and help more people instead of just all this one-on-one therapy.
Yeah, that's a lot to tackle. That is a lot to tackle there. Yeah.
One of your questions was, what's been difficult for me? Should I go for that one?
You should. That's exactly the one I just honed in on right there.
So many things have been difficult. It's been spending all of this time, these last like 4 years, outside of my comfort zone. And so, I don't know, what's that expression, that growth begins at the edge of your comfort zone. And so that's true. Like I've done so many new things. I hired a part-time employee. I mean, so many new things. Even just making decisions. I've had to like get better at making decisions and not being wishy-washy about things. I've had to hire employees. I've had to find bookkeepers and find a different bookkeeper. It's just so many different things, deciding on a build out, gathering information from people. I've never felt in my life like I've been a leader. I've been a hard worker. I've been a good, dedicated follower, and I've never been a leader. And so even just like making decisions and gathering information, everything I've done practically has felt outside of my comfort zone these years. And as a result, I think when you do that, I feel a lot more confident than I did before. I don't feel like confident and cocky, like nothing can go wrong. I feel confident that I have like this process in place to evaluate decisions.
How much are you doing as far as running Thrive itself? And then are you still practicing as a counselor then?
Yeah, my private practice, I see like 12 clients a week. So that's maybe 15 or 16 hours a week on my private practice. And then the other time, adding up to, 40 or 50 hours a week, at the busy times, it's 60 hours a week. All the rest of that is dedicated to Thrive therapy space and running Thrive.
What does a typical day look like for you as far as the balance between the two? Like from from working with your clients themselves and then working with your clients as the community itself? What's a typical day look like for you?
I've divided it up so that on Mondays and Fridays, I work mostly on Thrive Therapy space. So I don't see any clients at all on Mondays and Fridays.
Okay.
And so then Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I see clients, maybe about, 4 or 5 clients a day, depending. So I see clients on those days. And then I work kind of in between that, working on Thrive, answering emails. But then it's all about community, right? So I spend quite a bit of time out in the community room, greeting people when they come in, hey, Heather, how you doing? What are you up to this weekend? Just that kind of stuff, like the things that build relationships. So definitely spending some time on that. And so it's not a loud water cooler talk. It's very important water cooler talk so that people feel connected and seen and known.
That's a really good point there, because I have a tendency as a business owner to forget that.
Mm-hmm.
If I could choose to, I would just do my work, even though
Right.
though I want the community, I also just want to get my work done, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I have figured out, even over the past few months, that I have to be there in the business, working with the staff, saying hello to the clients. Like, I have to show my face, and that is just as important as the back end of the work that I'm doing. And sometimes it's hard to see the importance of that relationship type of work. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that you brought that up. That's the community. That's the collaboration, right?
Yes, and relationships are some of the most important things in people's lives, right? And so the relationships at work, their relationship with their boss, their relationship with their clients, right? And so that the relationships end up being some of the most important things in people's lives, right? And so, yes, if you obviously want your employees to be happy, them being happy is going to depend, at least in part, on having good relationships at work where they feel seen and heard and respected.
Look at me getting a free therapy session. Right. Yeah, I did need to hear that. And that might be helpful for some people, some entrepreneurs out there, or business owners, to hear as well, because sometimes I think we forget that, because, you focus on that production of things that you can see, right?
There's so many things to do. Like, we have lists, like my lists and all, there's so many things to do. Yes.
Yeah.
But that one of the to-do things is, allocate however many hours, but, really literally allocating 4 hours a week to relationships, or 3 hours a week, or whatever. But you got to allocate some time to the relationships so that people feel seen and heard and known, respected, and valued. Yes, those are all related, right? But valued, and like their input is valued.
I think you just absolutely answered the question: what would a member get from being a member at your place? And the fact that you stress that as being high on your priority list, to make sure that is a form of your work, really answers that question. You really bring a heart to the table of the work that you do, Penny, and that is appreciated. And I am so excited to see where everything goes for you, and the growth that you're going to. You're like you said, you're being innovative with what you brought here in Erie, and it's just getting it out there, and getting it to grow, because that's the only way this is going to go, right? With the way the workforce is nowadays too, it's you're right where you need to be.
Right. The more we grow, the more we can help the clinicians, right? We, get more massage therapists on, get more of everybody on, right? We can help the clinicians. The clinicians can help more clients. And then I do think that there are kind of increased ways that we can help the community. And I think that's hopefully what's going to be coming next, is how do we help? Well, we're trying to help the community already, but how do we help the community in a way where it's not just one clinician and one client all the time? How about a clinician, whoever it is, helping more people?
I love to hear that. So if I had to ask a question, where do you see yourself from 5 years from now? I would say that that's probably more your answer there, right? Is really being able to get out there and help groups of people, as opposed to just that one-on-one. Am I correct?
Yes, exactly.
Penny, do you have any events coming up? Do you have any open houses? What does the rest of this year look like for you?
Our next open house is in August. I think I have the date memorized. August 8th. It's Friday, I believe. Yes.
So Penny, even for myself, I wanted to ask you, I could join for $35 a month and be a member as far as just a part of the community and come in for, you had said, your once a
Yeah, the
month.
baby breakfast is tomorrow morning. Yeah, you can come to it, Heather, and just join our community. Yeah, so the community really is to help other professionals out there, other healing professionals, right? Wellness professionals, right? Because wellness professionals often feel isolated, just like people the world over right now feel isolated. Yes, so we do provide a sense of community. So people come in, they hang out with us, they come to our open house. You know, we bounce ideas off of each other. And, you know, one of the other key things about co-working spaces is well, I guess I mentioned the collaboration, right? But then there can be this synergy happening. And I think there's more synergy happening now that we have other providers from other healing modalities than the synergy that we had when we were just the mental health clinicians, right? And so, yeah, we'd love to have you as part of our community, Heather.
Awesome. And then anybody else watching, we'll make sure that we put some information up on Facebook here for you. Anything else you wanted to share with us today, Penny?
I'm really glad you're doing this, Heather. Thank you for helping the wellness community in Erie, right? Because as we help each other, right, and you're doing with the wellness community right now what I'm trying to do at Thrive in particular. I'm trying to build community among our providers, right? And that's why you're having these, as you're trying to build community among the wellness providers in Erie and beyond, right? So thank you for your role in building community and helping improve the lives of the people in Erie County and beyond.
Yeah, I think it's important for us, like you said, as wellness providers, we do get stuck behind our four walls, right? Because we got to work, we got to bring in money just like anybody else. And it could be hard sometimes without having those conversations and without speaking the words of who you are as a wellness practitioner, right? Which is kind of the point of this, is having those conversations. It helps just solidify where you're at and where you're going. And I'm hoping that this can help all of us do that as we move along.
Good. Well, we'll be teammates together, Heather, as we improve the wellness of the Erie area.
Awesome. Oh, I'm so happy that we were able to get together, Penny. You stay here. I'll meet you in the green room in the back here. And for everybody else, I will post Penny's information to Thrive Therapy Space on the Facebook page and YouTube. And we'll get her events on there that are coming up as well.
Thanks, Heather.
All right. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.